when you're in the gritty part, it doesn't feel like an origin story. It just feels shitty. And so having that perspective that this is the origin story, this is how the legend is built, gives you a notion of time that, hey, when I'm on the other side of this, this is just going to be an amazing legend of how I got here. The artist of your life. If your life is an art piece, make it a beautiful piece of art.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I am your host, Q Edmonds. And if you followed me enough, you know what I'm going to say. I'm excited to be here. I say this sometimes as well, is that our guests, they have a way of getting me excited. Once you really talk to them, find out what they're about, just the things that they say just really excites you, really just gives you ready to learn more and to, really just enjoy the journey of watching you, the viewers, get to know them a little better and get to see things through their perspective. And so today is going to be a little bit different because the guest that we have, he is a physician and he specializes in longevity and quality of life. And I think for anybody that's in real estate, anybody, investor, any way you work within real estate, we want longevity and we want good quality of life, right? But I love his approach because his approach is, to me, he didn't say this word, but I'm going to say it holistic. And he can correct me once he starts talking if I'm wrong. But just his approach is not a one fit all. It's unique. The way he think about things, even some of the things that he has in place is very unique. And so I'm not going to go on, too much longer talking because I really want you guys to get to know him. So I just want to introduce you to Mr. Zain Hakeem. Mr. Zain, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks for having me on. Great to see you.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for just the talk that we'd had before we got on. And again, like I said, I'm excited for people to get to know about you. So let's do this. I want you to kind of take us into your world, right? Let us know what your main focus is these days. Maybe if you want to even tell us a little bit of how you got into what you did, where that passion comes from. And if you want to tell them, we usually say what markets you're operating in, right? So if you want to tell them your own base, sure, we would love to do that. I would love for you to do that as well. But the floor is yours, sir.
Fantastic. Yeah. So I'm here in Austin, Texas. I've got my practice here, building that up. I'll tell you where it came from. Actually, that's a great place to start. Everybody loves an origin story, right? So when I was in med school, so I was a philosophy major in undergrad, and then I went to med school. In med school, one of the quotes that we used to hear a lot from the founder of our school was, the role of the physician is to find health. Any idiot can find disease. And that really got me thinking, what do you mean health? And every time I asked that, again, coming from a philosophy background, the first thing is, what's your definition? What do you mean by that? Right? And so coming from that philosophy background, I was like, what do you mean health? How do you define health? And that got me thinking for years about that definition. The definition I came to is that health is a lot like wealth. It's a coin that you have to spend. Nobody's getting out of this alive, right? And so what are you going to spend your health on? Every year that passes by, you spent it doing something, right?
Mm.
And so, you have this much health. And to me, the health is the capacity to do the thing that you think is worth doing.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
If all you think is worth doing is sitting watching TV, then you're healthy enough. There's no need to improve your health, right? Because you're doing everything you want to do, right? Most people want more than that. Most people think that the path they're on in life is more than just sitting watching TV, right? And then you need more health in order to have the capacity to do those things that you think are worth doing. Now, this ties into the practice because the minute I say it's the thing you think is worth doing, I have to ask you personally, what's worth doing? What do you think is worth doing? Is that I don't have kids. A lot of my patients do, right? So raising kids is not a big part of the thing that I think is worth doing right now at this point in my life. Hopefully it will be in the future, but it's not right now. But for them, that's a lot of what they're caught up with. A lot of why they're earning money, a lot of why they're doing the work they're doing is to give their kids a quality of life. So my advice has to be directed toward, hey, if I give you advice to go, hey, work out, 100 hours a week so that you have no time to spend with your kids, is that health? Right? It's probably not. That's probably anti-health. It's less healthy because you're not doing the thing that you think is worth doing. And so that kind of was the origin story of this insight and got me started down a whole pathway of starting to talk to patients about their values and what they really find worthwhile. And I've got a whole system of conversation now to figure out for the individual what their values are and how to really optimize around that.
Yeah. No, I love it, man. And I think where that fits in so well with what we do, talking to people that's within real estate, is because we have people that have special niches, right? We got wholesalers, brokers, realtors, investors. And sometimes you want to move across the asset plane. But what you're talking about is you really have to sometimes sit with what makes you happy. What is
That's right.
your definition of health? Because sometimes you can chase something and you're not really healthy in the chasing. And sometimes you just have to be
Mm-hmm.
content in where you are and what you do. And I think, to people that's in real estate, maybe that's something to think about is that sometimes you just have to sit and be good at what you are and be content at what you are. Because sometimes if you stretch yourself too far, you know how they say that bend don't break. Sometimes you may wind up breaking. You may not be able
Yeah.
to bend. You may wind up break. So I don't know. I mean,
Sure.
how do you feel about that, Mrs. Zane?
No, I think that's well said, and it's an open question, right? So, a lot of my patients, it's an expensive practice. I'll give you that. So it's $25K a year, right? And so a lot of my patients are entrepreneurs that have exited. They sold their business for however million dollars, whatever. And a lot of what they face is, well, wait a minute. Now I theoretically don't have to work,
Mm-hmm.
w-
Mm-hmm.
and my whole life up until this moment was chasing the next dollar.
Mm.
And now what am I supposed to do with myself?
Yeah.
Right. And there's a real
Wow.
crisis of meaning that they experience. And that's a lot of what I speak to as well. What do you think is worth doing? What's worth filling up your life? Why were you chasing that next dollar? What was the original point?
Yeah.
Right. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of times people lose track of why they were trying to do that in the first place. Was that, you know, to feel secure? Was it to secure a life for their kids? Was it to be hot enough to get a cute girl? What
Yeah.
was the
Yeah.
original reason, right? And so whatever the original reason was, you got to kind of figure out, is that still applicable? Do you need more? Maybe you need more than $10
Mm.
million for whatever that reason was. I don't know. Maybe you wanted to run for president and 10 million is not enough. I don't know. Like you got to figure out what the real connection is for that individual to say, should you be content where you are and you need to switch to paying attention to different things? Or do you need to double down and keep chasing and keep going to a higher level? It's not always one or the other. You got
Yeah.
to figure out for the individual which it is.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Yeah. One of the things, and I've said it on plenty of podcasts now, one of the quotes that I live by that I heard from someone at a very, very tough point in my life, they made a statement. They said, when you know who you are, you know what to do. Right. So
Mm.
when you know your why, when you have a good
Hmm.
sense of, again, all these things you're talking about, how is health defined for me? Even how success is defined for me. What is my why? What keeps me motivated? You're very self-aware to
That's
say,
right.
hey, I listen, kids, maybe, but right now, this is not part of the why. And some people
Sure.
listening may say, that's crazy. But then some people is like, no, that's so smart. Like, why would you
That's right.
why would you bring a kid in right now? They're not gonna be your top priority. It makes no sense, right? And
That's
so
right.
when you know who you are, you know what to do. And when you can be centered on who you are, whatever comes your way, you're gonna know how to address it. You're gonna know how to attack it. You're gonna know what's the target, what's gonna keep you motivated. And you can just be honest about it. And I have to make something up and then just make a disaster of things in front when you knew just exactly who you were. You know what I mean?
Or even worse, you get what you aim for and it doesn't hit for you. Well, what happens when the dog catches the car, right? It's like, well, what do I do now? I got that 10 million and it's still empty inside. Well, that's not health, right?
Mm,
And I mean,
mm,
you said something really interesting there that, and I want to piggyback on that. One of my best friends actually was struggling with a new job change and this and that, and he wasn't sure what to do in various situations. And one of the things I kind of told him was very similar to the quote you said is I said, well, who do you want to be? Right? If you don't know what to do, try to figure out who you want to be,
mm,
and often that will let you know what what your ideal self would be. And it's so smart, Quentin. You jumped ahead into a part of the practice I don't even usually talk about
mm.
because it's not as marketable, right?
Talk about it.
So I,
Yeah.
I yeah, so I talk about depth, meaning, purpose, connection. What I really mean secretly in the background is something Carl Jung, he was a famous Swiss psychologist. He used to talk about the concept of individuation, meaning becoming the most you that you can be, right? Fitting with the universe in the way that you fit with the universe, however that is,
Yeah.
right? And to me, becoming an individual, develop an identity is on three things. One is meaning and purpose. Why are you here? What are you pursuing? What are you doing? And I talk about that one the most because it's the most popular of the things. The other one is values and ethics. Is what won't you do? Where are your lines? And another one I like to talk about is, are you trustworthy?
Mm,
People talk about that. That's fine. Great.
mm,
And here's a deeper one. If your deep unconscious mind were another person, are you trustworthy to that person? Does your unconscious, are you trustworthy to your own unconscious? That's an interesting notion of values. And the third one I would say is trait expansion. I'm super introverted by nature. That's how I was born, right? But I have learned to expand towards extroversion,
mm-hmm.
and thus I'm able to be more successful because I have expanded my trait around my ability. If somebody is super organized, super on point, they would benefit. Their life will expand if they learn to tolerate a little messiness and they
Mm,
don't insist on that. If someone's super messy, their life will expand if they learn to organize a little bit. It's the expansion around your natural traits and tendencies. So those three things are the deep aspect of the practice in terms of how I'm defining health and how I'm looking at it. You jumped ahead, so I had to throw that in. You
yeah.
had the intuition of where that was
Yeah.
going, but yeah, I usually mostly just talk about meaning and purpose.
Yeah. Man, I appreciate so much of what you said. So two things that really help center me. One is that I'm a human being, I'm not a human doing. And so we talking about
Yep.
being the best being version of you, like who do I want to be? Because that's who I need. I'm a human being. When it comes down to it, I have to be more in order to do more. I can't do more and expect to be more. I got to be more in order to
Sure.
do more. And there's a coach, his name is Coach Lynch. I wish I could remember his last name, but he has a saying that says, if you lie to yourself, you truly have nobody else you can trust. And
Yep.
so really being honest about who I want to be, who I am, and radically accepting me. And if there are going to be changes, I can't say it as eloquently as you said it, but there is, if I'm an introvert, there's a little bit of extrovert that I have to learn if I want to get to a certain place. You said it so eloquently, I can't even overtalk
Yeah.
what you said, but you said it perfectly, right? And so be accepting, radically accepting who I am. But then once I know who I am, if I'm not happy with that, then who do I want to
That's right.
be? And then maybe I can accept a little bit more. And so listen, I'm gonna ask this question because I know we're talking about, I love what we're talking about, but I also want to
Yeah.
talk
Yeah.
about your business as well, because you are growing a business, you are growing a
Sure.
practice, right? So what's been the
Sure.
key?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
To keeping that machine kind of running smoothly, what are some of your systems and strategies that you have in place that keep you kind of like your eye on the prize and keep you passionate and putting systems in place to kind of get to the goal you want to get to?
Yeah, so I think so I'm a huge fan of the work of John Vervaeke. He
Mm,
has a YouTube series called Awakening from the Meaning Crisis. Um, he's a psychology professor, and his philosophical work, I think, really galvanizes me I consider him almost like a physicist who's
mhm,
describing how things work. And I'm an
mhm.
engineer trying to say, well, how do we apply that to people's lives?
Gotcha.
Right. And so that's a lot of what I kind of perceive myself to be doing. I'm super excited about science and we talk here. You and I got to the deep waters here,
Yeah.
but longevity matters, right? Like if we say, oh hey, who do you want to be? What do you want to do? What's the deep philosophy or whatever? Oh, but you're gonna die tomorrow. Well, I don't have time, right?
Right.
I don't have
Yeah.
time to do any of that. And so we need to have some idea of longevity and what are the things that are going to help you have that capacity for as long as possible. I think in the modern world, we've way overcomplicated that. People talk about blood work, biomarkers, this, that, the other. If you really look at the data, those things don't move the needle on longevity, or they move it very, very little, 1%, 2%. You know, uh, I measure 5 biomarkers or five concepts, I would say, and those are really all you need, and they're not, super rocket science. So I one of the talks I give, I say, look, there's 6 things you need to do to try to maximize your longevity, or at least get most of it, right? The first 5, nobody's surprised by. The 6th one is the one where everybody trips and screws it up, and that's where we get in trouble. Okay.
Mm,
So the first 5: maintain a reasonably healthy body weight,
mhm,
right? Exercise, both strength and cardiovascular.
mhm,
Maintain your social connections of all
mm,
different kinds, from intimate to distant, and make sure your social world is in good order. Don't smoke, and if you need to, manage your blood pressure,
mm,
right? Those are
mm,
not rocket science.
mm,
Nobody's super confused about those. Number 6 is and nothing else, right? It's these 5 and nothing else. So it's not a supplement. It's not the next blood work. It's not the next thing. It's these 5, just that. And the more you distract from these 5 by trying to do something else, the less benefit you get. And once you've done those 5, you have to accept that there's no further to go.
mm.
There's no, you're going to live as long as your genetics and soul are going to live, however you want to put that, if you're a
Yeah,
religious
yeah,
person or not, depending.
yeah.
But, however long you're going to live once you've done those 5, and that's it. And then we're talking, so that's as long as you're going to get. Then you talk about depth, meaning, and purpose. And so one of the, if you'll forgive a little bit of a story here.
Yeah, no, please,
Well,
please.
so I love this story. It's from Rory Sutherland. He's a marketer, and he talks about the train that was built from England to France under the channel, and the original train took, I think it was like 3 hours and 30 minutes or something, right? And they spent £6 billion to make a faster train, redo the track so that it would go in, I think it was 2 hours and 50 minutes. So it would save like 40 minutes on the trip, right? And he said, the problem is they could have spent, he jokes, actually, he has a great joke. He says, actually, what they should have done is spent £1 billion, hired the world's supermodels to walk up and down the train serving Chateau Petrus, and people would be asking to slow the train down, right? So more seriously, though, he says they didn't put Wi-Fi on the train.
Mm.
You could have spent a minimum of money and put Wi-Fi on the train, and people wouldn't care about that 40 minutes. As long as I can do the work and browse the web and do whatever I want to do, it's because you didn't put Wi-Fi that 40 minutes is intolerable. Now, pretty quickly, if you want to speed up from 2 hours and 50 minutes and get another 30 minutes less, you're going to have to spend exponentially more than £6 billion. Now it's going to be £30 billion to get another 30 minutes. You're going to have, and pretty soon you're going to hit the limits of physics, right? And you're not going to be able to go any faster. And so one of the things he talks about is engineer mindset tries to optimize the thing you can measure, which is the time. But in fact, what people care about, what you could 10x, is the subjective experience, right? How do you measure how much better your trip is with Wi-Fi versus without Wi-Fi? Maybe surveys, or I don't know, but even that's not gonna, the reality is with Wi-Fi, my trip is way better, 10x, easily, right? For way cheaper than speeding it up by 40 minutes, right? Because now I have 3 hours and 30 minutes of productivity instead of 2 hours and 50 minutes of non-productivity, right? And so I would much rather a slower train that has Wi-Fi than a faster one without, but they didn't account for that because they were just optimizing that metric. And I think people get that way about wealth as well. They get that way about money as well, where they're like chasing that neck. Well, how do I 10x this measurable thing? And meanwhile, they're miserable in their marriage, or they're miserable with their kids, or they don't have the relationship with the kids that they want, or I've come across this actually more than I would have expected. Or secretly deep down when they were a kid, they always dreamed of making music. And what they really wanted was to be a musician. And I understand you want to have a secure life, you want to make money. And now they got their $10 million, but they don't know how to reawaken that artistic spirit that was really what they were about. I don't know why I keep coming across that. I've got at least 3 patients like that where really in their heart of hearts, what they wanted was to be a musician, and they went a different way to get security. And that's great. But then they need to stop chasing more money because they need to reawaken their artistry. So it's just interesting when you really talk to people what values can kind of come out, and you realize, hey, yeah, you got caught up in this thing, and now it's time to get off that track. You've got enough security. You've got enough for forever, right? I mean, you got $10 million. What do you need, right? And so, let's move over to a different area.
Man, I could talk to you for so long. I'm gonna make a quick comment on what you just said. Then I'm gonna ask you to kind of give us kind of some kind of closing remarks. But man, what you said was so powerful, because there's always a point in this podcast where I talk about the journey to success. Like so many podcasts, when they talk about the success, they want to show the shiny object, but don't want to show the journey to it. And your train analogy, to me, it is the perfect analogy of the journey and the mindset in the journey. So instead of trying to go somewhere quicker, if you had Wi-Fi, or let's even say the supermodels, right? Like your
That's right.
your mindset is on something else. And so therefore the journey
Sure.
becomes much more tolerable. Matter of fact, it'd probably be a longer journey. When you get there, you're like, we here already? Because your mind is
That's right.
preoccupied, right? And so
That's right.
when we're in this entrepreneurship, investing, real estate, it's all about the mindset and enjoying the journey when you get to the destination. It's about keeping your mind in a perspective and a set where you can enjoy the journey, whether it's fast or short. Because unfortunately, you're not the train conductor, right? You haven't laid down the tracks. It's like you're getting
That's
on
right.
here and you don't know how long it's going to take to get to the destination you want to get to. It could be super fast or it could be super slow. But if you have your mindset, it's sometimes it's not going to feel fast or slow. It's going to be, I got here exactly when I got here, just based on the mindset. So with that being said, I want to give you the floor, just if there any last like inspiration or encouragement that you want to give to the audience. I would love for you to get that, because you're talking about mindset, and I think this would be good for entrepreneurs that's just listening in about the mindset. So I just want to give you the last floor for some encouraging words.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, I think I'll piggyback on kind of what you said. I think when you're on that journey, when you're in the gritty part of that journey,
Mm.
right? One of my this is actually not me. I borrowed this from one of my best friends. Um, he says, "Hey, just build the legend, right?" And this is what you're doing right now is you're building the legend of Zain, right? You're building the legend of Quentin. So when you're grinding that through, and the reason I love that so much is, we talked about love. We all love an origin story, right? But when you're in that origin story, it doesn't feel like an origin story. It just feels shitty, right? Right? And so having that perspective that this is the origin story, this is where I'm headed, this is how the legend is built, right? Gives you, I think, this notion of time that, hey, when I'm on the other side of this is just going to be an amazing legend of how I got here. This is going to be an amazing origin story. And that itself leads to the next point is, and this is just my phrasing, so it doesn't apply to everybody, but the notice of being an artist of your life. If your life is an art piece, make it a beautiful piece of art. And that's kind of my perspective on it.
And Zane, and I'll tell you, I could talk, bro. I could talk to you easily. When I say easily, another 30 minutes. Now that's easily. I
Absolutely.
probably could talk to you for another
Totally.
hour, man. Because I even want to explore how you just
That's
keep
right.
bringing art into the conversation, and we probably can go a whole, because art,
Oh,
the
we could go
way
forever.
how
For sure.
art impacts the world and how subjective art is, but how much
Sure.
one person can put a value on art, somebody else can put a total substantial another amount of value on art, right? So we could just go all over the place.
Sure.
But I said that I was gonna let you have the last words. Let me calm down. I thank you,
No,
sir.
that's great. By the way,
Yeah,
this is why all my visits are at least an hour long.
exactly right.
So
Yeah.
so I realize I can't schedule short visits because they're all at least an hour, and so
Absolutely.
that's yeah.
Absolutely. But listen,
Very
man,
good.
I appreciate you. Listen, before we wrap, if someone wanted to reach out to you, connect with you, collaborate, schedule an appointment, like how can someone get in contact with you that wanted to connect with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So my YouTube channel is out there, youtube.com/@riverrockmedical. riverrockmedical.com is my website. And of course, just honestly, feel free to reach out. The letter Z like zebra @riverrockmedical.com is my email address. And if somebody wants to collaborate or hop on, that's the best way of getting a hold of.
Absolutely. Well, listen, y'all heard him, Mr. Zain Hakeem. Sir, I thank you so much. I thank you for your story. Thank you for your perspective. Thank you for your mindset. I think even, I'm going to say, even a mind shift that I think some people are really going to get once listening to this episode. And so thank you for taking time out. This was a pleasure, sir.
Truly my pleasure. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely. So everyone, you know what I'm gonna say. You got value from this, and so just go ahead and subscribe. I keep telling you, we just going to keep bringing amazing people and having amazing conversations. I really want y'all to call me out on it one day. Call me out on it if we did not deliver on just some amazing content, right? Be like, Quincy, you was wrong. You're not gonna be able to say it. So just go ahead and subscribe. That way you can come back in, because we're going to continue just to bring amazing people up, just like Mr. Zain. And so, Mr. Zain, I thank you again, sir. And listen, to everyone else, we will see you on the next time.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.